Hello, college algebra students. This is Dr. Chris Demery, and welcome to College Algebra. I'm really excited about a brand new semester. Looking around, the energy is just incredible. Just seeing all the beautiful faces back engaged, ready to rock and roll. So we're not going to meet each other until Monday. So I wanted to put together a small video just to warm you up to what you have to do before we get together. Here's the home screen for College Algebra. You can find a little welcome message for myself and some tabs. You're more than welcome to use these tabs. They're just going to be navigation tabs for you, but we can also get that from over here. All right, so now over here on the left, you can view my simple syllabus, which simple syllabus is very important contract between you and I. I'm not going to reiterate it or read it for you, but please, by all means, go through it. You'll find how the percentages of the class are broken down, all those things. I will be making announcements throughout the course. This is where you're going to see announcements. All right, I gave you already one. If you click on here, you can see that I've given you a welcome message. All right, so that's nice. Before I get into Alex, I'm going to go to modules real quick and show you that there is a start here. Now, under start here, you're going to find the schedule of activities. So if I click on schedule of activities, you'll see that this is where everything is housed between what we're going to be doing every single day and what we're going to be, studying, what responsibilities we'll have, things like that. Now, there is a difference here. I have already had this as a question. There is a suggestion for when you are to complete your assignments. All right. The suggestion is pretty loosely defined because if you go into the assignments themselves, there is a different time. So what I suggest and what I strongly encourage is that you follow the schedule of activities. It keeps you on task and it keeps you going. For example, it says complete by Sunday, 8/31/25. Well, that's the day before the holiday week. Okay, I give you until the weekend to do it. Well, in the system, and I'll show you just briefly where that is, it won't say that date. It'll say 9/14. Well, I make all of my assignments due on the day right before your test. So don't become alarmed if there's a discrepancy between what the schedule of activities shows and what online system says. I give you grace and what I call grace period for all assignments. So it's up all the way until you take a test. You should know the content before going into a test. So absolutely makes sense that you go through it and make sure you do the test. The material before the test. All right, so now you have here, it's going through the syllabus, schedule of activities, procedures, things like that. But then you have the diagnostic test. All right, so this is diagnostic test. It says its date covered is 8/20. Well, we were never together. How can it be covered? Well, it's hybrid. That's what the HY means. It's hybrid. All right, it means you got to do it by yourself. And you should be able to do the diagnostic by yourself. And here's how. All right, so this is schedule of activities. But before I go to how, let me talk about this briefly. These are all linkable videos. So they're linked videos inside of here. So it's one-stop shop. So you click on this graphs and graphing utilities. That's a video that I go ahead and teach you how to do 2-1. I won't be able to teach 2-1 on Monday when we're together. When we get together, it's going to be like I'm going to be right into 2-2, 2-3, and 2-4. All right. So we're going to be only meeting one day a week. So it's really tight. We only have a total of 14 meeting times. And that's because there's holidays embedded into our day, Monday. You'll notice that we have 4 days reserved for testing. That means technically we only have 10 days then for actual assignments or doing work. Actually, there's 5 days because there's a final. So that means we have 9 days of working together. So we're very strapped for time. so it's going to move quickly. But because of how fast everything seems to move, I have a generous gift to share with you, and I'll share with you that in just a minute. Okay, you have the textbook for the classes right here. All right, you have graphing calculator notes here, and I offer extra credit if you attend to the tutoring center. So I can record how many hours you do it, and I offer that back to your final grade at the end. All right, so that's an end thing. I can total your hours, and I know how to do that. So I look at it, and it's what I do to help support you. And people ask, oh, well, what can I have for extra credit? Well, did you attend to the tutoring center? And that's really important. Attendance is very important to me. All right, so you might want to come to class every single class period. So that's really, really important. Also, growth mindset is really a passion of mine. So towards academic mindset and mathematics anxiety, I'd ask that you look at this right here, this document. It's a PDF, not PDF actually, it's a PowerPoint, excuse me. So look at this. This is a start here. This gets you warmed up. But now, before you do anything else, I just pointed out on the schedule of activities, you've got to do these diagnostic. Well, the diagnostic is found by coming to Alex. That's why I put this here in the beginning, right off the bat. So a couple of you already have done it, which is great. All right, some of you have. That is great. Now it's free. So once you do it, there's 4 people who did it. All right, so I would like to encourage all of you to get on here and get this done. All right, so I don't want to show too much of that because it's got information on it, but I wanted to just share with you that this is a link and it brings you to Alex. You're going to have to register for Alex. All right, there is a comment in the syllabus about registering if you don't feel comfortable with it. There's a link that walks you through that in the syllabus. Now, you're going to go ahead and take the initial knowledge check through Alex. The initial knowledge check is a adaptive courseware feature that when you complete it to the best of your ability, not that of your friends or that of somebody else or anybody, no automated system like ChatGPT or anything like that. It's your effort. It will give you a very unique prescription based off of your understanding of content at the moment of impact. So it's all material that's previous to this content that we're about to study. So it really helps focus in on some of your troubled areas if you're stuck on areas of concern. So you have 6 weeks to complete the pie, what's called a pie. It's all the different areas of assessment. And once you do that, it'll count for 3 homeworks and a quiz grade. So it has merit to it, also participation. So it affects 3 areas of your grade. So it's really an important process to get through. The better you do on the Alex initial knowledge check, the less you'll have to do. So be careful with that if you are in fact going to attempt to cheat on that, because it won't get you necessary help if you are cheating on it. So be careful with that. Do the best you can. And can you use a calculator? Yes, you can use a calculator. Please try to do the best you can on it with integrity. All right, so that's the Alex. So you're responsible for that for 6 weeks. And I will look at that and put a grade for you at the end of that time. All right. Now, when it comes down to this, you're going to go ahead and go into modules. Modules is the way where you're going to do all your homework. That's where the start here is. All right. But under here, you won't see some of these things because these things are all grayed out. That's just me. All right. You will see a thing called diagnostic. Well, the diagnostic is a reminder that you have to do the Alex. All right, now for your homework classwork, the way that this class is going to be completed is you're going to come in. I'm going to give you small number of instructions, small amount of instruction, meaning maybe 5 to 10 minutes at most. And then what I'm going to do is have you work together. Now, the classwork, there's 5 questions per section. All right, and then there's homework. Homework done at home, classwork done in class. I can assign, let's say 3 of the 5 questions for 100%, or I can assign all 5 questions. If I feel like but I want you to complete all of them. And I say this because there's classwork and I want you to complete it like 3 classwork questions in class, but then you might have to take it and complete the other 2 at home. So I say that, whatever. So we're going to go ahead and complete these. There's 3 questions for your quizzes, 10 questions for your homework, and 5 questions for your classwork. Those are going to be what you're going to be responsible for. Not that much in any one of those. Okay, so that's not a lot. Some sections might have 7 points, meaning 7 questions, but for the most part, all right, like you can see, some of them, even though I technically give you 10 questions, some of them don't have 10, it has 7. So you can tell how many questions there are. But you'll notice how these all say September 14th. It's the day that the test is completed, or the day right before the test is, because the test is on the 15th. And you can see that happening in all of these. Like, look at all the chapter 3 says all of them are due October 5th. When is that? The day right before the test on October 6th. All right, so that's when it's always due. You can always tell when your test is because every assignment is due right the day before it. So there should never be a concern about, oh, when is that test? All right, when is such and such? So plan accordingly. All right. Now, this doesn't mean that just because it's due on the 14th that you wait until the 13th to do it, or you wait until the 14th to actually start the assignments because it's too much. So that's where the schedule of activities will give you the suggested time to complete your test, or not test, but the questions for the assignments. All right. It should be pretty easy to understand. If you do have any more questions on that, please let me know and I'll help you out. All right. That was the biggest thing I wanted to make sure I tell you before Monday. And so that way you can get started. Make sure you work on section 2.1. And then if you do click on it, all right, you're going to actually see that there are videos even inside of that. So there's multiple areas where you can get help and support. And not that I'm all about having my students just teach themselves. That's not the point of any of it. It's just that a lot of this material, you're going to find that you don't need as much detailed instruction in order to do well on it. It's something that you can, follow some procedures and then be accountable to that. I'll teach you some things on how to use the graphing calculator when we're together on Monday. I'll be bringing my own. So please bring your graphing calculator. I would suggest strongly that you get this particular calculator. I don't know if you can see it. Nope, you could probably not see it. But it's the TI-84 plus CE version. That's what I'm suggesting you get for a calculator. So, all right, that's all I really wanted to say. I'll let you go with that and have yourself a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday.